What's going on, everybody? I just wanted to give you guys all a quick peek at kind of a day in the life of trying to build Honest Car Care. Myself and Christy debuted our kind of first two episodic videos on everything that we've been working on. And those are a little bit more, I wouldn't say scripted, but kind of focused. And a lot of you guys still called for transparency and just kind of wanted to see all the ins and outs. So I just wanted to kind of share little minute things that we're doing on the day-to-day basis, or at least what that looks like here on the East Coast. And I'm sure that she's going to do the same thing over there. So like today, for example, I got off a little bit early last night, about 4 a.m. So for those of you that don't know, like I work nights. So we got off about 4 a.m. I came home, I actually slept for a little bit, woke up about 9 today, was kind of scrolling, looking at some different products. I ended up calling this really small mom and pop store because they had access to this chemical that's been getting a lot of attention, and I wanted to see what that looked like, because even this chemical is like very small, kind of mom and pop-ish also, but it looked like maybe they had some sort of private label, or I just wanted to try to get some information on kind of where this was coming from. And they informed me that this company is no longer going to be making chemicals anymore. So I was like, that sucks. And then, like a good salesman, they then directed me to their own private label operation. So we got kind of talking about that for quite a while. And maybe there's something there, but it was cool just to kind of hear another experience from another person that's in this field. So that was like a good hour-long conversation, kind of talking to them. And I think myself and Christy, we find ourselves probably on the other end of those quite a bit. So talked to that individual for quite a while, just everything there was about the way that they're doing chemicals and stuff like that. And then basically transitioned to another phone call. Somebody who watched my episode last night, Christy's episode last night, and said, hey, we want to do a partnership. That situation is going to still be pretty touch and go because they're not wanting to do anything very overt. And I was like, cool, we'll listen to it. We'll see if something works. They are somebody who makes very highly respected products. So that's kind of like how my mornings went so far. There was certainly a call for just more of that transparency, maybe what we're doing on a day-to-day basis. I can't promise you that you're going to get a daily HCC vlog, but I'm sitting here actively working on HCC stuff. I'm in a really good frame of mind. I think finally getting that first video out that I was proud of, just kind of relieve some stress. Really been working diligently with the core, I would say, plank holders. That's what we would say in the military, of the House of Rags and that following, and really just been engaged, sitting down, taking everything that they have to hear, the good and the bad, and just trying to harness that and learn from it. One of the things they said was transparency, so just wanted to kind of show you, I guess, what that looks like. So right now, I'm sitting here breaking down some different chemicals that I wanted to get sent out to Christy. She had, so just a little backstory. Communication error happened kind of this week on my part. We were working with a brand and I ended up sending some stuff, and it just kind of missed the mark. Hydrofluoric acid was one of them, because we were doing the wheel cleaners, and that's when I learned that that's not something that we're gonna be wanting to do right off the bat. So I said, okay, cool. We're gonna work on some more eco-friendly acids, not an issue there. A lot of these companies, they don't just make appearance products. That's kind of the category for detailing. They make household cleaners and things like that. So I just grabbed a whole bunch of stuff and sent it that way. And some of it just didn't really fit the bill, or when we did try it, it just was extremely caustic and just not for detailing. And that's just kind of part of it. So I got to take ownership of that piece. But right now what we're doing is I've got all the stuff that we talked about in the video that she didn't have right now. So I'm actually taping all that down, praying that this does not leak. And we're just kind of going from there. So this right here is the chemical number 8. So I'm trying to make sure that we can ship this in a way that's going to be safe and doesn't leak, because this stuff is not necessarily the easiest to get or cheap or any of those things. I'll just kind of leave that there. So then this right here was that chemical 3. You can kind of see just how rich and dark that color is. That's probably just because of the dye. So we're kind of throwing that in there, and you're analyzing everything here from the type of box that you're using. I don't ship chemicals on a normal basis. This right here is that chemical 1. Well, it's funny because I actually have shipped a lot of chemicals, because of giveaways, and we haven't had too many people say anything too bad about like spills or anything. And then this is kind of like, I guess, like what that process looks like for me. So I used to have like this gutter tape, and we finally ran out of it. I swear I've had that for like 2 years. So now what we're doing is we just have some black electrical tape, and then I bought these 8-ounce bottles. They were like 20 bucks from Amazon. I'll link them below if anybody has the need, but they're like these nice PET bottles, and they come with the lids kind of screwed off, and then once you put the chemical in there or whatever, you can screw it back down and it'll kind of like click, and now these are like sealed bottles. So that's kind of nice. So that's kind of what we're doing, and then I'm just popping the black electrical tape off, and then I'm just trying to use that to try to wrap and just give us every little bit of leverage we need, because I really don't want to have to reship or, you know, rebuy any of this. And that's kind of the thing too, is because we have used different chemicals and stuff like that, there's going to be times where like I'm like, oh yeah, I kind of know this one brand, or she might know a brand, and we might just throw them into the testing because we know that we've had a somewhat relationship with them. We'll see how they test, and if we feel like there's an avenue there to where we could work with them, you know, it's nice to have that testing data first, and then you kind of spend that time talking to them, because as you guys know, I can be a little bit verbose at times, and it's just something that kind of takes a lot of energy to talk to these brands. And we've had some instances where, you know, we've worked towards something, and then maybe it doesn't work out, and it's like, well, damn, we spent a lot of time on that, and then we're back at square one with nothing to show for it. So sometimes it's easier just to like figure out what the product is, test it, and then reach out to the company and say, hey, like, you know, then it gives you something to talk about. Like, hey, I really like your product. I've been using it for years. I think that maybe there's something there for Honest Car Care. And then you can just kind of go on from there. So I don't know. There's probably 100 different ways to do this thing better, but the biggest thing is just wanted to kind of let you know what I'm doing on a daily basis. And I got one more week where I'll be working my current job, well, really one more day. And then I'm kind of just like free to, I'm basically losing my job. I get laid off on Friday officially. So it is what it is. It's just kind of part of like contracting work. So I'm happy. Like I've been offered like 3 jobs since then, but we don't want to move. So that's just, we're trying to figure it out. So that being said, I will be hopefully a little bit more accessible. I'm just trying to make a conscious effort to engage and just do what we set out to do, which was to continue being transparent through Honest Car Care as much as we can. We're always going to protect the businesses and things that we're trying to establish a relationship with. We're not here to do an expose or cause any drama. We truly want to be a value add and just hopefully make the detailing industry a little bit more united. I think that's kind of what the goal has been to this point. And I haven't put the video out because I haven't put out a lot of videos because I've been working on this stuff and just other things. But one thing that really struck me being at my first time at SEMA that I just thought was like so beautiful. And I will try to put this video out soon because I pointed it out to Eddie and Jamie before I left SEMA, and, you know, shaking their hand, I just said, thank you so much for everything. But when you looked all over SEMA, there was kind of all these different brands, and they were very, like the Rupes booth, massive, right? That was a full-scale shop almost. You know, hundreds of thousands of dollars spent. What a great operation to see that. And then you go to the KCX booth, you name it, it was like this whole operation, right? But it was just like, the one thing you think about was like, those were just kind of one brands. And what was so unique, I felt like, to the Thor brand is not only did you have all these brands from all over the place, right? Well, that's the thing. They weren't just like influencer brands or this or that. It was a collection of some of the best minds and some of the best brands from literally all over the world. And that was one thing that really struck me was, wow, you know, that was the wow thing for me, because like you have 2 brands from Korea, people from the UK. I mean, you name it, you guys know the brands, but I was like really struck by the body of work. And I just think that now it's like, not that any of the brands that we bring in through the house or Honest Car Care, not that there's a plan to make them officially part of Thor, But I think just that idea of unity across all these different brands and everybody being on a team together, working towards an initiative, I think that's something that could be echoed throughout the next SEMA, and I think that's very exciting. I think that there's just so much stuff that goes on in this community, for the good and the bad. And I'm just excited to, I feel like, be a part of something that's a little bit unique, a little bit fresh. I mean, trust me, I understand that it's a hard sell for some people, and like, I'm not going to sit here and lie and act like we have it all figured out. Like, we are absolutely still trying to figure out exactly where our place is going to be. I'm very confident with people like Christy on the team, and obviously Eddie and Jamie. Like, we're going to put out a good product. I think the biggest thing we need to do is just continue to do what we set out to be, which was transparent, honest, and just kind of take you guys along for the ride. So I think, given this opportunity essentially that I have with being laid off, I want to be able to get on here and give you guys a look at what that day-to-day looks like. And as soon as Christy is able to receive some of these products and we can make some decisions, I think we let you guys in on what that refinement process looks like, what those conversations look like, us describing exactly what we want. We can do that through these videos and tell you guys, for example, we really liked Chemical 3. So now it's, okay, are they going to answer the phone? Are they going to be willing to work with us? There's a lot of things. Are they going to have the flexibility to change that formula? Because there's things about it that we still might want to alter a little bit. I think that's part of the next journey, is once you identify, okay, man, like, this is it. This is a good base. This is good foundation. What's that next stage look like? And I think that's going to be really compelling content. And I hope that we'll be able to kind of get that out to you guys here in a timely manner. This is just kind of part of it. Without either of us, neither of us are chemists. Neither of us routinely have shipped products all over the country. So, something as simple as trying to figure out, well, how do I successfully send a bottle of chemicals 2,000, was it 1,700 miles or something, probably, from here to her place up there in California. Everything's kind of like a series of experiments, and like we're just trying to figure it out day by day, piece by piece, and then hopefully here before long we have something that we can show to the public. And I think it's really cool to take you guys along this journey, because it gives us the opportunity to actually build something with the people. That is something that we have experienced through some of the other projects that I've worked on, sending out samples to people, letting them test it. There's no hiding the fact that I haven't had a detail routinely for a long time. Ever since I got out of the military, I got the contracting job. It was kind of like, we move. I really haven't got a good footing on regularly detailing. I still have people who call. I still have people that I detail for, but it's been sporadic, and I don't even really advertise it. The thing has been very organic, been very like, people call me, cool, I have a car, and that's whatever. It's been nice. It's been nice to kind of get some of those weekends back with the family. And it seems like I always will find a way to stay busy outside of work, but that's just part of it. But yeah, just something as simple as, well, let me pack this box. Oh crap, how do I do that without all these chemicals leaking? These are some pretty heavy duty things right here. Like, this is all of our acids that we're going to be testing, and then this is going to be all those base products that we had. And we're just trying to stay ahead of everything. I've talked a lot so far, and if this isn't the type of video for you, I do apologize, but this is just something I wanted to capture. One thing we touched on yesterday in the video was that we're always trying to stay ahead of something. Once we get into that kind of tweaking the formulas phase, it's going to kind of like push that off. Like, we'll be able to have the video footage potentially of having those conversations. But after we get to the kind of that phase and we get honed in on something, it's really just going to be on the back burner, doing things in the background, and then we'll have to flex to kind of the next initiative, which means we all have to have multiple products at our disposal. So that's kind of what this is. This isn't just the stuff that we need to work on for the wheels and tires. we are still actively talking to other companies about potentially wheel and tire stuff to do a final test. And then this is some acids. This is some specifically made water spot removers. It's a lot of different things coming together, but we just have to continue stacking chemicals and companies and ideas so that we keep moving forward from this point. So I think there's an art that we are both learning to that. And we're just trying to make sure at the end of the day that we continue delivering on all of our original goals of being, like I said, not just transparent, but giving you guys a show, right? This is supposed to be somewhat entertaining. There is so many people that I heard, well, I thought that this was going to be this, or I thought that was going to be that. And the reason why there's confusion is because there's been a lack of communication on our part, I think, of what this daily thing looks like. And maybe at times it creates a signal that we're not being transparent, whatever. But like I said, there's not a day that's went by where me and her are not talking on the phone, going over notes, talking to companies. I mean, it is constant. And this today is no different. As soon as I get off this, I would say, phone call with all you guys, we're gonna take all this stuff to the post office. Then I gotta run over to the bank. I gotta do some other personal stuff. And then I pick up my son, and then the day keeps going. Maybe I'll edit this video. Then we put the video out. We get the thumbnail made. There's all types of stuff that go into this. And it's just nice. For me, and where I've been sometimes with my own mental health struggles and stuff, I feel overwhelmed at times because I want to make sure that I'm having balance and being a good father and a husband and being the head of my household. Really, the wife's in charge, but you know how that goes. But also, the reality is I'm losing my job, which used to be one of my biggest fears. I don't know what's coming next. I don't know how we're going to make it, but I had a plan. We refinanced the house. We're good for a couple months on that mortgage side of it. And I just want to live life. I just want to continue to tell my story. But you guys have seen me get emotional at times when thinking about my job and that whole journey. And I don't have a lot of negative or sad emotions about it. It's just part of life. And I feel really, really happy about the direction that not just Honest Car Care is going, but like where I'm going. And I just feel really relieved and stress-free, and I'm just very at peace with the world. And I'm just looking forward to giving back to charity, to all the different things that we've discussed. It's just been a wonderful experience. So getting ready to finish packaging this stuff up, going to drop it off. Let me know if this type of content works for you guys. It won't always be this long and drawn out. It won't always be whatever. Hopefully it's more exciting, more testing products and stuff like that. But I just wanted to try to add in on some of that daily commentary so you can see kind of what we're up to. So regardless, I love you guys. If you did listen, I appreciate that. And what product do you guys want us to try next? We've got the wheel and tire cleaner moving. What are you hoping that we test out next? What are you hoping that we transition to? Let me know below if you're still here. Anyways, love you guys.
Speak your mind loud and true. What you say reflects on you. Keep it honest, keep it real. Let the truth